Live from the River City here in Jacksonville. It's college softball on ESPN Plus. We are just about set for first pitch in this Sunshine State matchup between the Jacksonville University Dolphins and the 6th-ranked Florida Gators. Alongside Meg Mahalik, I'm Kyle McCarthy. It's a beautiful night for softball here in Jacksonville. Both teams warming up. JU coming into play 3-1 on the short season. Florida, of course, undefeated. As you see, 5-0, the 6th-ranked Gators. Couple players to watch for both teams. The woman who needs no introduction, Taylor Shoemaker. Meg, what do we have on Taylor?
Shoemaker's going to be the player to watch tonight. She's an all-SEC team player and player of the year as well, but she's got 2 home runs on the season so far, so just big at bat to watch. Absolutely.
It's a treat to watch Taylor, the second baseman for the Gators. On the other side for JU, it's been a hot start for Madison Weathers.
Madison Weathers, again, another player to watch for JU. She's got some big at-bats on the season, 4 RBIs, and just a great first outing in their home opener.
Absolutely, including a 3-run home run in the win over UMass over the weekend. It'll be exciting to see what Madison Weathers and the Dolphins have in store for us. Coming up next, lineups and first pitch right after this. Folks, welcome back. We are just about set for first pitch between Jacksonville University and the Florida Gators here at the Pruitt Softball Complex. It'll be Florida leading things off, and on the mound for Jacksonville, it'll be Jordan White. First for the Gators, top-heavy starting lineup. Taylor Shoemaker leading off in right. At first base, Jocelyn Erickson, followed by Kendall Grover and Cassidy McClellan. The pitcher, Averitt Brown, in the 5-hole, followed by shortstop Kenley Cahalan, Ella Wesolowski, Gabby Comia, and finally Townsend Thomas, the center fielder. Like we said, it's Jordan White on the mound for the Dolphins. White 2-0 on the season, 1.75 ERA, 13 strikeouts in 12 innings pitched. And she is very familiar with the Gators. We'll have more on that later. In her first start of the season against Colgate, as you see there, 10 strikeouts and a complete game victory for Jordan. Yeah, we take a look at the defensive alignment, left to right in the infield. It's Weathers, Kirsten Stevens, Vic Brunette, Tatum McCool in the infield for the Dolphins. Then Emma Mansfield, Jada Thomas, and Kate Linkletter left to right in the outfield. Sarah Beth Brake will be behind the dish, catching for Jordan White. And the player we covered in the intro, Taylor Shoemaker, digs into the box to lead off this one for the Gators. First pitch is high, and we are underway here from the Pruitt Softball Complex.
Talking about Jordan White, you'll notice her height on the mound. She's a tall girl. She's going to have an up ball.
As that one's lifted into left center field, no problem for Jada Thomas. She puts it away, F8 on the putout.
Now batting first.
One away here at the top of the first.
Jocelyn Erickson.
Boy, Meg, that's a big out number 1 to get.
That's a big out one for sure. And again, player of the game leading off, and you get the first fly out.
Yeah, now another star for the Gators, Jocelyn Erickson. Made her name as a catcher, a Gold Glover last year. She gets the start at first base this season, the senior from Phoenix, Arizona. Erickson lines one, caught out at second base. Comia making the play there for the Dolphins.
Now
quickly 2 away. Let's take a look at that one again.
Again, Jordan White using that velocity, just staying behind the ball on the pitch, and a fly out and a line out. You can't ask for the first 2 outs to be any better than that.
Yeah, it wasn't Comia, it was Brunette on the put out there for the Dolphins as the first pitch is fired in on the inside corner for strike 1. It's Kendall Grover. Grover on the season, 5 starts in all 5 games, hitting .250 so far for the Gators. She fouls that one off to the left side. It's now 0-2.
key for Jordan White here, especially leading off in this first inning, going right at these hitters, going low on the inside corner, using that velocity to throw that up ball.
And the pitch, little waste pitch in the dirt from White, makes the count 1-2. Grover so far this season, no homers, couple doubles, 3 runs batted in, entering play. The 1-2 from White. Looped into left center field. That will fall as Thomas is able to play it and fire it in to the infield. So a 2-out base hit for Kendall Grover. See this just off the end of the bat. Placed perfectly into the outfield.
Yeah, just an off-speed pitch. Kind of stayed hung up a little too long.
And that brings up Cassidy McClellan. McClellan, the left fielder for the Gators. Watches ball 1. McClellan on the season, a .500 batting average. Started all 5 games, 9 for 18, a double, 4 runs scored, 3 runs batted in. Takes the second pitch for ball 2. And already, Meg, Jordan White was 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. You don't want to let the Gators hang around too long.
No, and you don't want to fall behind in too many counts. But again, you're ahead with 2 outs right here, so keeping that runner from getting around is going to be the key to keeping the Gators off the board in the first inning.
So now the count 3-0 to McClellan.
We know that Florida is not shy with taking extra bases.
That one upstairs, McClellan will take the free base, and now all of a sudden runners at first and second with 2 away. And she'll give way to the pitcher, Ava Brown. We'll have more on Brown's pitching stats in the bottom of the first, but at the plate, she's hitting .273 on the season, has a homer, 4 runs batted in. That one just a bit inside from White, 1-0. Great off-speed pitch there from White. Now evens the count up at 1-1. On the inside corner. And now Jordan White ahead in the count. It's 1-2 to Ava Brown, her counterpart. We have Grover leading off second, McClellan off first. 2 away here in the top of the first. The pitch just off the outside corner. White wanted that pitch.
And you'll notice as the game goes on, Florida, they'll work the count deep. They'll go to 0-2 before they jump on something too early in the count. They like to see a lot of pitches. They'll foul and stay in the at-bat as long as they can.
2-2 in the dirt. The count runs full. Yeah, Meg, it looks like this was going to be a quick inning. 2 quick outs, both loud outs, but 2 quick outs, and then all of a sudden up to 17 pitches. We'll see the 18th from White right here. That one's jammed back behind home plate into the seats. Someone's going home with a souvenir. Count remains full, 3-2 to Ava Brown. Pitch from White. Line the other way into right field for a base hit. Great throw to the plate. That was Linkletter out in right field, holding the runner at third. So Grover, who took a wide turn, decides to hold up, and now all of a sudden, bases loaded, 2 away.
We'll get another look at that line drive again. Ava Brown, just a good all-around field hitter. She's going to go with that pitch and puts it in play to keep them in the inning.
So now it's Kenley Cahalan with a big opportunity for the Gators. She fouls one back, 0-1. Linkletter played that one well. It's very tempting to charge in on the ball, on a ball hit that hard, especially with a player rounding third. Stays patient, fires it in, holds the runner at third, gives Jordan White a chance to get out of this inning scot-free.
Yeah.
Just off the outside corner, 1-1.
When you talk about that play, think about the rest of the game. Those little things are going to come into big play as the game goes on, especially when you have aggressive base running from Florida.
That one does nick the outside corner. White ahead in the count, 1-2. The pitch to Cahalan. Lower away, 2-2. Cahalan, another great offensive player for the Gators. A home run, 6 runs batted in on the season thus far. She's got a great opportunity here. The pitch off the end of the bat, fouling out of play.
Jordan White just doing a good job, too, in the circle, staying composed. I mean, that's a big deal to get two quick outs and then kind of be in a jam here, but keeping that composure and going right at these Florida hitters.
The 2-2. Off-speed pitch upstairs. The count runs full. Yeah, Florida, to your point earlier, they're doing a great job of working the counts. Cahalan down 1-2. Stays patient, works it full. Here's the pitch from White. Popped up. High in the air, and playing it is Stevens. Stevens puts it away for out number 3. So Jordan White gets through the first inning, strands the bases loaded. After this, it'll be the JU starting lineup when we return. Bottom of the first here in Jacksonville. Jordan White able to keep the Gators off the board there in the top of the first. Now it'll be Jacksonville's turn to bat. It'll be led off by Emma Mansfield, the left fielder, Kate Linkletter, Jada Thomas, Sarah Beth Brake batting cleanup. Madison Weathers, who we highlighted in the opener, bats 5th, followed by Allison Carter, Tatum McCool, Vic Brunette, and finally Kirsten Stevens, rounding out the bottom of the order. On the mound for the Gators, we already saw Ava Brown at the dish. She fired a single into right field. The junior for the Gators, very versatile, 1-0 this season, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts on the ledger thus far. Now it'll be Emma Mansfield digging in. Mansfield batting .333, has started all 4 games for Jacksonville. If she gets on, always a threat to run. Brown fires in a first pitch strike.
Yeah, the fun thing about these teams matching up every year is JU, they're not new to seeing Ava Brown on the mound, so what adjustments can they make in the new year?
Yeah, we touched on it very briefly earlier, but these two teams very familiar. Jordan White very familiar with the Gators. Ava Brown familiar with the Dolphins. As the 0-2 pitch is fouled back. Mansfield, a hard player to strike out. Has yet to strike out so far this season. And there's number 1, goes fishing in the dirt. Ava Brown picks up her first strikeout of the day. 1 away here in the bottom of the first.
We'll get another look at that pitch here. Again, Ava Brown working down on the zone with that off-speed pitch, getting Mansfield to chase.
And she'll give way to Kate Linkletter. Linkletter's also started all 4 games, .385 batting average so far, takes inside for ball 1.
I think key here for JU offensively and that mindset in the box, attacking that pitch that she's going to give you. Don't guess, but just be reactive to those pitches in the zone.
As that one's fouled back, we already saw it from Mansfield, but they're doing a good job reading the pitch well. They fouled off a few, just need to put it in play. Easier said than done against the pitcher like Ava Brown, of course. Here's the 1-1, ripped into left field. And that'll be in for a base hit. That was played very well by McClellan in left field to cut it off. As she holds Linkletter to a single. So we take a look at the Gators defense. McClellan, Thomas, and Shoemaker in the outfielder. Shoemaker has played a lot of infield. She's in the outfield today. Grover, Cahalan, Comia, Jocelyn Erickson left to right in the infield. Finally, Ella Wesolowski behind the dish for Florida. First pitch just off the inside corner from Brown. As we take a look at Jada Thomas. Thomas, the freshman center fielder. 2 RBIs so far this season. She's hitting .400. And a snap throw down to first base just late as Linkletter's able to get back in time. And Thomas ahead in the count, 2-0 so far. That one bit high from Brown, so Thomas ahead in the count, 3-0. Jay, you doing a nice job staying patient. Here's the 3-0 from Brown. Fires in a strike, makes it a 3-1. Linkletter can run 1 stolen base this season. Was also caught 1 other time, only 2 attempts. Here's the 3-1. That one's hit hard into left field, and that one's going to fall off the wall. Linkletter around third. She's going home through the stop sign. The throw just got her. What a relay throw. Wesolowski dives to apply the tag. Well, an aggressive play by Linkletter, and why not? Thomas roped that one into left center just off the wall. You thought it was deep enough to score, Linkletter. Look at this play by Wesolowski diving. We had a great vantage point of it up here. You saw her just barely apply the tag.
Yeah, I thought that outside hand might have got in there, but it was a very close play. But with the ball, it just came off the wall a little too hard, so that takes away some of that time she has coming around third. But a great play, and the throw was directly on point. You've got to have the throw.
So big out number 2 for the Gators as Thomas snags third on the pass ball. So it's Sarah Beth Brake, senior from Alabama for Jacksonville. Sarah Beth hitting .400 coming into play thus far. Looks at 1 low, 1-1. Yeah, I do like the aggression from Jacksonville. Linkletter trying to score early. Runs are going to be at a premium against a team like Florida, as that one's grounded out to short. Played by Cahalan, fires over to first. The side is retired. So JU unable to score off the Jada Thomas double. We'll head to the top of the second. Still 0-0. Between Jacksonville and the Florida Gators. As we look at the series history, Florida undefeated against Jacksonville. 31-0. 7 of the last 8 have been a run rule for the Gators. However, there's been 1 that has not been a run rule, Meg, and that was due to Jordan White's pitching last year.
Yeah, we talked about her before we went on air, and just the stamina that she brought in. She went 4 innings with only allowing 1 run in that game that they did not lose by run rule. So kudos to her coming in with that game knowledge and leading the Dolphins in the 2nd inning here, trying to keep Florida off the board.
Yeah, and off to a great start so far. You know, we saw the 2 quick outs last inning, loads the bases, able to work out a trouble there. Probably more pitches than she would have liked. Still, great job by Jordan White to work out of trouble. Now she's behind in the count to Ella Wesolowski thus far, 2-0. Wesolowski hitting .222 on the season, 3 starts. Does have a home run and a couple RBIs. She rips that one right off the JU dugout. Like we said, we're used to seeing Jocelyn Erickson behind the plate, but Wesolowski's playing a lot more catcher this season for the Gators. Something to watch as the season progresses.
Yeah, and I've gotten to see some of their scrimmages. They do green and gold inter-squad, and Coach Erica keeps them on their toes, having girls match up to compete, keeps them in the game for preseason. And, you know, these athletes work hard outside of game time, so keeping them on their toes and making sure they're earning their spot.
2-2 the count to Wesolowski. The pitch from White. Chopped foul once again off the JU dugout. 2-2 once again. That one is ripped. Also foul. Wesolowski doing a nice job making Jordan White work. That's been a consistent theme here so far from Florida. Two once again. Swing and a miss. Jordan White gets Wesolowski to chase upstairs. There's one away here in the top of the second.
And again, you see that rise ball from Jordan White. I keep calling it the up ball. It's just the quickest way for me to say it. But she's got that rise ball, and she'll use that to her advantage, even if she's behind in the count. It's a very deceiving pitch.
So Gabby Comia digs in, slaps one foul down the left side. Comia off to a hot start, batting .500 so far, 8 for 16, has a couple doubles, 4 RBIs for the Gators. Number 3 player in the class of 2024, as you see on your screen. Slaps one off the glove, boy. That was almost fielded by Madison Weathers. Instead, it trickles into left field, and Comia's on with a 1-out single.
Again, you've got the great eyes of a slapper, and that line drive, it's just a good placement. Almost good reaction time off the glove.
Yeah, Weathers almost able to make the play. But Comia leads off first. She gives way to Townsend Thomas, the center fielder for the Gators. Shows bunt. Pulls it back, 1-0.
Yeah, when we were showing the starting lineups for Florida, I was curious to see how their lefties will match up because they're mixed in with the righties, and you got 2 lefties back-to-back, so you know you've got speed, you've got the threat for a bunt to move runners around.
As that one's bunted foul. Yeah, Comia has plenty of speed. Only 1 stolen base so far this year. I have a feeling that number is going to increase as time goes on.
Oh, for sure.
Townsend Thomas also with a stolen base. That one's chopped to third. Weathers wisely fires over to first base. To nab Thomas. Comia moves up to second base. 2 away with a runner in scoring position. And back to the top of the lineup. Here's Taylor Shoemaker.
And one of the things you're going to notice on the screen there is that green safety bag. It's a double first base in college. It's not technically a safety bag, but that has been brought back into Division I softball this year. Next year will go mandatory across the board for all divisions.
Yeah, and that play right there, that's why.
Yeah.
Almost a little collision there.
Yeah, there's some rules that come into play with what the runners and the players can and can't do, but ultimately it allows them to swap if the ball carries the defender over.
Pitch to Shoemaker, high and away. Yeah, Tatum McCool, it was a smart play by Weathers to fire it over to first. No way you're getting Comia at second base, and no room for error if that ball trickles into right. But it was a tough play for McCool. She's able to stick with it. Get the second out of the inning. Shoemaker hits this one into left, and making the grab on the run is Mansfield. Out number 3 in the top of the second comes to a close. So still all knotted up at 0. We'll head to the bottom of the second right after this. The bottom of the second from the Pruitt Softball Complex. The sun is setting here in Jacksonville as Madison Weathers digs in for the Dolphins. You see the ASUN preseason coaches poll, UNF dominating. They are right up the road here in Jacksonville. Jacksonville projected 9th, but trying to prove some of the doubters wrong. We highlighted Madison Weathers in the opener. She comes into play red hot, batting .667. 4 RBIs so far on the season, 8 of 12. She swings and misses at an off-speed pitch, 0-1. JU had some opportunities in the first. The play at the plate to nab Linkletter was the highlight. But some signs of encouragement against a really tough Florida Gators team.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking big swings. You know, they are working the count a little bit. They've had some off-timing swings, but being able to execute and getting runners close to scoring position, like that's the key. If you can do that in the first inning, it's going to boost their confidence for the rest of the game.
The 0-2 pitch from Brown. Dribbler out to third. Firing over to Erickson. And there's one away there. It was well played by Grover. Grover Didn't want to charge it too fast, stayed patient on it. Fires it over to Erickson, a quick out number 1 for the Gators.
And you see that ball, just a slow roller, still playing it in case it takes that hop. But you're going to see that all game, those little things that each team's going to do to get ahead.
Yeah, so that gives way to Allison Carter. Carter, one of the senior leaders on this team, hasn't started a game until this one, but has appeared in 3. 2 for 3 entering play. Also 3 RBIs for Carter. Just quickly in the hole here, 0-2. The pitch from Brown in the dirt. Pitch, did she go around? Home plate umpire doesn't seem to think so. Third base umpire agrees. So that evens the count at 2-2. Carter has another chance against Brown. Carter, the designated player. The pitch, rips one into right, caught by Comia. Well read off the bat. Gabby Comia moves to her left and puts away Carter.
Now batting first baseman number 12.
Quickly 2 away as Tatum McCool digs in.
You see that pitch off the handle a little bit, but not hard enough to get through past the hot glove over there of Comia.
So here is Tatum McCool. First pitch swing, lifts it into center field, playable. And Townsend Thomas puts it away in a 1-2-3 inning for Ava Brown. Brown makes quick work of the Dolphins. We'll be back in 1 second for the top of the 3rd. Still scoreless here between Jacksonville and Florida as we begin the top of the 3rd in this Sunshine State battle. The Gators, like we said in the preseason poll, were 6th. They've moved up to 5 in the ESPN.com top 10 poll, just behind the powerhouse Oklahoma Sooners. The SEC is all over the top 10 in the ESPN.com poll.
Yeah, you're going to see those positions slide up and down throughout the whole season. They've got a lot of competition there this year.
It'll be Jocelyn Erickson facing White to lead off the top of the 3rd. Erickson 0 for 1, flew out to left her first time up. A 1-0 pitch from Jordan White. It's lifted foul, that'll play. Yeah, we saw both pitchers get into a little bit of trouble in the first inning. Both were able to work out of that trouble. Then in the second, a little bit more calm for both teams.
Yeah, and the goal here is as the game goes on and you face these hitters a second, third, and fourth time that you have an approach that changes. You learn from each at bat.
And Erickson hits one off the wall in left field. Boy, that one rattles around. Going out to play it was Kirsten Stevens. Stevens, the shortstop, was the first to get there. Fires it in. Erickson digs into second base with a leadoff double.
Yeah, and you see Ava Brown, again, that timing. She's going to hit all sides of the field. She times that up, takes it to left center. That ball ricochets off the wall hard enough. If she hadn't slowed up, she might have been able to try for third, but a good stand-up double, just a good piece of hitting.
Now that brings up Kendall Grover. Grover 1 for 1, and that ball's lifted to left, and that ball is way out of here. Kendall Grover, my goodness. A 2-run bomb puts the Gators in front here in the top of the 3rd. And this entire stadium knew it the minute that ball hit the bat.
And you see Grover will get another look at this swing here. Just times it perfectly. That ball left a little too much over the heart of the plate. And that's exactly what Florida looks for. Again, they sit on those at-bats. They let the count go deep. And those are the pitches that they wait on and take advantage of. And just a good piece of timing, too. Got a runner on, first swing, 2 runs.
Yeah, first home run of the season for Grover. Gives the Gators a 2-0 lead. First pitch from White, off speed. as Cassidy McClellan comes in. McClellan walked her first time up. Was stranded on second back in that first inning. Here's the 1-0. Just a bit outside, 2-0. And it seemed like the Gators, even if they don't get runs the first time through the lineup, now that they've seen White, a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, and we know how the Florida team hits. Like, they're very quick to adjust in at-bats, even in the same at-bat, but they're always giving information to their teammates. Like, that's the name of the game. If you can't share that information, you know, you're not going to make the next hitter any better.
So 2-1 the count to McClellan. Pitch from White. Just a bit high, 3-1. That one called a strike. It's now a 3-2 count. Still no outs. This would be a big one for Jordan White's confidence if she's able to nab McClellan here. The payoff pitch just outside, ball 4. So McClellan works her second walk of the day. She'll pass things off to Ava Brown, the pitcher. Brown 1 for 1, ripped a single into right field her first time up. That one in there for strike 1.
Yeah, the refocus point here for White is just to go back to what you know. Stay tight, tight spin on the ball, really get that velocity. Don't leave anything too high in the zone.
If you're going to miss high, miss it there.
Yeah, miss out of the zone.
1-1 the count, still no outs. 2 runs in here in the top of the third. Jordan White, the 1-1 pitch. It's the outside corner. Generous call from the home plate umpire makes it 1-2. She's been trying that outside corner all day, finally gets a call. It's been close time and time again.
Yeah, and I know from up here we get a view of the plate. Sometimes it looks like it catches, so it might have caught that front corner. Our disadvantage, unless we're looking at the camera screen, but when we look down, we're so high, we don't see like the height of the ball.
See the Gators home run leaders, Taylor Shoemaker already with 2. Add Kendall Grover to the list as she hit her first one of the year in this inning. That one just barely fouled off behind home plate. So Brown stays alive as the count remains 2-2. Pitch from White in the dirt, 3-2 the count. The Gators making Jordan White work. Already 57 pitches through 2+ innings. You have to wonder how long of a leash she's going to have. And that one just a bit low, ball 4. So back-to-back walks for the Gators. They now have runners at first and second, still nobody out.
Shortstop number 31, Kenley Cahalan.
We're going to see a visit here for JU, and we've got some action in the bullpen, so that's going to buy some time to give whoever, I can't see who's warming up, but whoever that is, that'll give them some extra time.
Yeah, we're at a bit of a disadvantage there when someone starts warming up in the bullpen. But a well-timed mound visit. Just settle down, Jordan White, this inning. You don't want to let it get out of control. 2 runs is fine.
Yeah, 2 runs is okay, and you've got runners. You've got to force out. You can double up if you can, if you get a good ball in the infield to double up somewhere. But really for her, just to refocus and go back to what you know. Again, like communicating with your pitching coach, adjusting where you need to. I'm sure that's what some of that conversation is just to kind of refocus, build that confidence back up a little bit, try to get ahead in the count.
See the Gators dugout having some fun here in the top of the third. But to your point, White does just need to settle down. She's stranded already 3 runners in scoring position. She's looking to add to that total. It's Kenley Cahalan digging in for the Gators. Cahalan 0 for 1, popped out her first time up. That one fouled just over the fence in left field, so 0-1 the count. also fouled to the left side. So quickly 0-2. And again, well-timed mound visit. You see Jordan White comes back out of it, attacking Cahalan. You want to get ahead in the count. You know, like we said, the Gators are going to work the count, but at least get ahead, make them earn their base.
Yeah, get ahead early for you as a pitcher, and if they're going to work the count deep, at least make them foul it off and foul it off.
The 0-2 outside. Cahalan does have some pop. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Hit deep into center field. That ball is off the wall. Boy, in the deepest part of the park. One run's going to score. They're going to hold Brown at third base. It's an RBI double for Kenley Cahalan. The Gators lead now 3-0 here in the top of the third.
Now batting catcher number 74.
You see that ball there inside, but still over the heart of the plate a little too much. So getting a good barrel on that for extra bases and an RBI.
Yeah, and Jada Thomas played that very well. She had a great jump on it. There's no way an athlete, even to the caliber of Jada Thomas, is going to make it there.
Yeah, she's got the speed to get there for sure, but not on that one. She's just picking it up clean off the wall to prevent those extra runs.
Very, very few places in this ballpark you hit one that far, it's usually gone. But I think Cahalan will take a one-run double there. Yeah, so a pitching change here for Jacksonville. We'll take a break with the score 3-0 Gators in the top of the third. Out of the timeout here, we have a pitching change. Carson Johnson, the sophomore, making her second appearance of the season. She'll face Ella Wesolowski, fires in the first pitch for strike one. For Johnson, in her one appearance, gave up no runs, gave up a couple hits, but clean so far in the earned runs department. We have Ava Brown leading off third, Cahalan at second, dribbler out to third. Misplayed by Weathers, she's up with it. Wisely decides not to throw. So a nice pitch from Johnson, but Weathers unable to come up with it. And all of a sudden now bases loaded, still no one out here in the top of the third. Now it's Gabby Comia. Comia 1 for 1. She had a slap single into left field her first time up. Another one on the outside corner. Nice job by Johnson getting ahead. It's 0-2 to the Gators' second baseman. That one outside. The count runs to 1-2.
Kudos to Johnson coming in. That was the first ball she's thrown so far. I mean, you got the mishap at third, but still going right at these hitters.
That one just barely fouled off by Comia. And that's what you like to see from a young player like Johnson. It's a tough task, no matter how you slice it. It's second and third, no one out against the number 6, or hey, per ESPN standards, the 5th-ranked team in the country. Be interesting to see how she battles against the Gators. Here's the pitch. Another one slapped foul by Comia. Comia, a tough player to strike out. Here's the 1-2 from Johnson. That one chopped to short. The play goes to home, and they're able to get the out. Very well done there by Kirsten Stevens. And that's a heads-up play. Stevens charging, a force at every base, but comes up with it, fires a clean throw home, get the lead runner. Just one out, but no more runs across so far.
Absolutely, and it looked like her body started to go to first, but she got that one hopper, and that's good timing, especially when you've got to make that play at the plate. You get the good hop to just fire it in.
Brings up Townsend Thomas. Thomas takes ball 1. Thomas 0 for 1 with a ground out so far. Big opportunity with the bases loaded and 1 away. Gators trying to add to their 3-0 lead. The pitch. Just outside 2-0.
So far from Johnson, she's doing good. She's working that low part of the zone, but that movement is what's keeping his hitters a little off balance. They've got to readjust that timing.
And the 2-0 upstairs, so all of a sudden 3-0 to the Gators' 9-hole hitter. Don't want to give out any freebies, especially with Taylor Shoemaker on deck. That one is low, and it's a 4-pitch walk. The Gators' lead will increase to 4-0 as Kenley Cahalan, comes in to score.
Now batting right fielder number 21.
It's back to the top of the lineup and Shoemaker. Shoemaker 0 for 2, which is a rare sight. Already 2 home runs on the year. She's looking for her 3rd. The pitch. Johnson able to fire in strike 1. That one outside. I do like seeing that from Johnson, though. 4-pitch walk, walks in a run, comes back to the best hitter in arguably the entire SEC, fires in a first pitch strike.
First pitch strike, yep.
That one just off the outside corner.
And you're going to see that all game long, those small misses, because, again, you don't want to leave anything over the heart of the plate. Like, even if it's middle out, middle in, anything that has the word middle in it for Florida is a guaranteed base hit.
2-1 pitch. That one downstairs, 3-1. To your point, it's pick your poison. You know, do you fire a guaranteed strike knowing that a player like Shoemaker can hit it into the parking lot, or do you work around her? That one's fouled off. The count runs full.
Yeah, and I'll play a guessing game. I'm going to guess that the way that they work their counts, and again, the eyes that they train their eyes at practices all the time. Tim Walton's very rarely going to give a take sign. So if they're ahead in a count, behind an account, they're looking to be aggressive the whole time.
That one's grounded out to short. Takes a bad hop. It goes off the chest of Stevens. The throw in. Oh boy. The ball rattles away from break, and all of a sudden the runners advance. 2 come home. It's now 6-0 as the Gators are piling on here in the top of the 3rd.
Now batting first baseman number 8, Johnson.
We'll get another look at that one too. That's just a tough ball. I mean, it's hard hit, so you can't really come charging straight at it, but hits that base path area and kind of takes that hop.
That's such a tough break for Kirsten Stevens. Normally, like 99 times out of 100, that's an easy play. You can get the out at second, maybe 1 run comes home. Takes 1 bad hop, nothing she can do about it. Brunette tries to fire it home, the ball skirts away. Unfortunate series of events for the Dolphins. Still only 1 away, 6 runs home in the top of the frame. And now Jocelyn Erickson, another player who can hurt you, digs in. Erickson takes a strike, now 1-1. Erickson 1 for 2 on the day. There's a run scored as well. And that one's ripped up the middle into center field. Holding the runner at 3rd is Jada Thomas. Nice throw in, but it's an RBI single for Jocelyn Erickson. The lead swells to 7 for the Gators. Now with their 2nd at-bat of the inning, it's Kendall Grover. If you weren't with us, she hit an absolute moonshot just about 15 minutes ago off the tree in left field. That is one of the furthest home runs you will see in college softball, as Erickson will take 2nd without a throw.
Yeah, without the tree branch that's out there, it probably would have kept going. We've got some dorms back there. It could have made it that far.
Would have been a studying sophomore up there who gets awoken by a home run ball courtesy of Kendall Grover.
Yeah, get some glass shards out of there. Keep it for a souvenir.
One low and away. That break's going to go out and have a word with Johnson. Just settle her down. like we said, tough spot to enter for Carson Johnson. She was able to get the one out. Even got a soft ground ball and tough hop. That's softball, though. It's going to happen.
Yeah, that's just the name of the game. And, I mean, kudos to her. She kind of took the shot pretty well. Like, wore it right off the top of the collarbone there, it looked like. But, again, just another visit here at the mound to try and slow down the pace, try to get Johnson to reset. Same way Coach came out and talked to White earlier. There is limits. I will say this just for fun facts. College now, they limit and count player-to-player visits and coach-to-player visits. Just to try and keep the pace of the game, so you won't see a visit unless there's a pitching change like more than once.
So we'll reset 2-0 the count to Grover. Just inside, now 3-0. Waiting on deck is Cassidy McClellan. 3-0 the count. Pitch from Johnson, fires in strike one. Outside ball 4. Kendall Grover will not have her second home run of the inning. She'll trot down to first base as McClellan will dig in for the second time this inning as well. McClellan, well, the Dolphins have been working around her. 2 walks so far in the contest. We'll see if she can put one in play here. That one just misses, 1-0. This is what a team like Florida can do. You know, the first 2 innings, JU able to work out of some trouble. All of a sudden in the third, they come alive in a big way. Johnson has fallen behind yet another hitter. It's now 2-0 to the Gator left fielder. Fires in strike one. Still just 1 out in the inning. The bases are loaded. That one fouled back by Cassidy McClellan. Evens the count at 2-2.
Yeah, when you go back to the lineup and you look at the lefties there, McClellan's one of the few that she'll stand in and swing for power. We talk about their speed from the left side.
That one fouled off the Mark and Meredith Frisch Pavilion out there just next to left field. But to your point, McClellan, another one of these big power hitters for the Gators. The 2-2 pitch, she fouls off another one. And this has been all game from the Gators. If you give them even something a little bit close, they're going to foul it off and wait until they get their pitch. And they'll just stay patient, work the count. We've seen plenty of walks. And that one's lifted into right field. That one's going to drop in for a base hit. 1 run scores. The Gators are going to keep Erickson at third base. It's an RBI single for Cassidy McClellan. It's now an 8-run third inning, 8-0. The Gators lead. Linkletter did a nice job getting over to it. The Gators were waiting by the base, just making sure she's not going to catch it. For Cassidy McClellan, her batting average just around 500 now. She is off to a red-hot start. So it's Ava Brown. Brown 1 for 1, also has a walk on the day. The only batter in the Gators lineup without a run scored so far. One pitch runs inside, 2-1. Another one misses. Now 3-1. Won the count. The pitch from Johnson. In there for ball 4. And another run will come around. Now 9-0 the Gators lead as Jocelyn Erickson crosses home plate.
Now batting shortstop number 31, Kenley Cahalan.
Looks like the Dolphins are going to be making a substitution. So Meg, if you're Coach Ayers, if you're Jacksonville, what do you do to get out of this inning?
I think it's just you got to keep your bullpen alive, because once Florida zones in and starts timing a pitcher and is hitting everything they're throwing, I mean, you have to make that change. And so, you know, Johnson did a good job coming in.
Yeah, we'll be back in a second, folks. Pitching change here in the top of the 3rd. Change. Delcy Swift enters for the Dolphins. Delcy Swift making her collegiate debut, her first ever appearance in collegiate softball. Redshirt sophomore from Hilton Head. And what a way to make your debut. Bases loaded against the juggernaut Florida Gators with just 1 away. First pitch up high from Swift.
Going back to that question about, you know, what does JU do in this situation with Coach Ayers and decisions, just staying in the bullpen, and you're going to see these Florida hitters time up pitchers really quickly. Once they start to get hot, they stay hot.
Yeah, you can see they sort of figured out Carson Johnson by the end of her tenure in the top of the 3rd. We are still in the top of the 3rd as Kenley Cahalan digs in. 1 for 2 with an RBI double. She's ahead in the count 2-0. The pitch from Swift is outside. Count runs to 3-0. Have to be some jitters for Swift, her first ever appearance in a situation like this. She comes back, just misses with that ball 4. The 10th run of the inning comes across as Kendall Grover trots in from 3rd base, brings up Ella Wesolowski. Wesolowski, 0 for 2. She reached on an error. She later came around to score, well, earlier in this inning. Delcy Swift fires in ball 1. It's 1-0 to Wesolowski. McClellan leads off 3rd, Brown off 2nd. Kenley Cahalan at 1st. Count now 2-0 to Ella Wesolowski, the Gators catcher. Delcy is ready in the pitch. And she fires in a strike. Just need to see one go through. It's 2-1 the count to Wesolowski. That one fouled back. Count now 2-2. Great job by Swift. 6 straight balls to enter her collegiate career, and then comes back with 2 high-quality pitches to even the count as she works to put away Ella Wesolowski. The pitch. Chop to 3rd. Throw home 1. No throw over to 1st, so they get the force at home. Nice play by Weathers over at 3rd. And now 2 away here in the top of the 3rd. Swift close to getting out of trouble. She'll have to go through Gabby Comia.
And this is the out you want right here. Again, you've got back-to-back speed with runners still in scoring position. So this is time for the big 3rd out here in the inning.
Yeah, Comia reached on that fielder's choice earlier in this inning. Hit one out to Stevens at short. Stevens went home with it. Comia later came around to score. Nice pitch from Swift. Oh, the throwback heads-up play by Brunette. Ball would have trickled into the outfield, and things may have gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, that is everyone has a job on the field, even when the ball's not hit.
So 1-1 the count. The pitch from Swift. Fires in strike 2 to Comia. She's 1 strike away from getting out of the inning.
Definitely see she's past the jitters.
Yeah, she has settled in nicely. The 1-2 slap hit into left field for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. Cahalan will stop at third. It's an RBI single for Gabby Comia. Now 11-0 Gators, all 11 runs coming here in the top of the third.
And you see Comia just timing that ball up enough to punch it through. She's down in the count, so just making contact here is all she's worried about.
Yeah, Stevens almost able to make a play moving to her right. Mansfield was up with it quickly to hold the runner at third. The first pitch to Townsend Thomas is fouled off. So you remember earlier in this inning, Townsend hit that soft grounder that took that awful hop into the chest of Stevens. Swift ahead in the count. It's now 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. That one's lined into center field, a base hit, and that one's going to roll all the way to the wall. Thomas around second. She's thinking 3 to throw in time, and they nab her, but not before 3 runs come home. It's a 3-run double from Townsend Thomas, and after 14 runs, the top of the third comes to a close. So we'll go to break. 14-0 Gators. Bottom of the third coming up next. Packed house here at the Pruitt Softball Complex. A lot of Dolphins fans, a lot of Gator fans making their way over. You see that gentleman with his big hat. It's 14-0 Gators. The Gators scored all 14 runs in the top of the third if you're just joining us. For the Dolphins, it'll be Brunette, Stevens, and Mansfield to lead things off here in the bottom of the third. Vic Brunette batting .333 on the season. Couple RBIs. The freshman from the powerhouse St. Thomas Aquinas School. She was first team Sun Sentinel her senior year, and she lifts one into left field. First pitch swinging. Vic Brunette leads things off with a base hit.
That's a big leadoff swing here. You think about it. You're down 15-0. You just had a tough inning on defense, and then you come up and you take a first pitch swing in the at-bat, and you get on base, so you're trying to spark something for your team here.
And I love it. Why not be aggressive? She is a freshman, but that was a confident swing from Brunette. So now it's Kirsten Stevens. Stevens still searching for her first hit of the season. That one off the end of the bat. Oh, what a play by Ava Brown. That was a lot harder than it looked. Ball kind of spinning away from her. She'll take the force out at first. Brunette will advance to second. And back to the top of the lineup for the Dolphins. Emma Mansfield digs in. She struck out back in the bottom of the first. First pitch hits the outside corner. Another one in there, quickly 0-2. Ava Brown has settled in, got into some trouble back in the bottom of the first. She is dialed in on this JU lineup now. Here's the 0-2. Mansfield chops one. It's going to go out to short. Post play at first. As Mansfield goes down 6-3 on the putout. Brown almost went for it, decided she's going to let Kenley Cahalan take that one.
Communication. That was exactly where my brain went. You see her almost glove that ball, but lets her shortstop take it because she's got the better read.
First pitch is a strike as Kate Linkletter digs in. Linkletter 1 for 1 on the day. Looking to drive in Vic Brunette, who's standing over at third. That pitch in the dirt blocked nicely by Wesolowski. Florida 14 runs, 10 hits, no errors. JU no runs, 3 hits, 2 errors. As that one's fouled off to the right side.
Goal here would be to at least get one at bat where you push the 1 run in. Just the 1 run to get some confidence back. You know, they're past the run rule territory, but you've got 2 innings of softball left.
Swing and a miss. Brown gets Linkletter to go fishing. And Brunette is stranded at third. No runs for the Dolphins. Led to the top of the 4th. The Gators due up by 14.
For the Dolphins, no runs out.
14-0 Gators here in the top of the 4th. It'll be Taylor Shoemaker to lead things off. We look at the preseason SEC Conference Coaches Poll Top 10. Meg, it is a who's who of softball powerhouses.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of good softball to watch this season, that's for sure, at least in the SEC.
Yeah, Texas and Oklahoma kind of the household names, but Florida and Tennessee, 2 very strong programs, going to give them a run for their money. So it is Shoemaker. Knocked in a run her last time up. She's 1 for 3 on the day. That one hits her. So Shoemaker will take her free base. Ball just kind of trailed in from Delcy Swift. We can't say enough about the job Delcy Swift did in the last inning. Her collegiate debut, able to get the 2 outs and get out of trouble. As we see Shoemaker right off the elbow guard. That's why it's there.
Yeah, that pitch just tread a little bit too far in.
So now it's Jocelyn Erickson. Erickson, jam shot out to second. Beautiful play by Vic Brunette. Moving to her right, able to make the catch on the run. Quick out number 1 from Delcy Swift, and that's a tough batter to get to jam a ball in the infield.
It's a tough batter and a very tough play. You see she slightly shifted. Brunette slightly shifted up the middle. She's able to get to that and get extended. If she's playing more in middle infield, she's not getting to that.
So now it's Kendall Grover. Grover 2 for 2. Single, a 2-run bomb that led off the scoring last inning. Also has a walk. Grover takes one in there for strike 1. It's now 1-1 as Shoemaker leads off first. Coach Ayers seen what she has with Delcy Swift. It's been a good start. These last, say, 3 outs from Delcy Swift as that ball is grounded down the third base line. Swift still looking for her first career strikeout. What a moment it would be to be on your home field against the Florida Gators.
Be one of those cool things to put on your softball resume.
Swift is ready. A 1-2 pitch to Grover. Just outside. That one froze Grover. It ends up being low. It's a great off-speed pitch from Swift. It's not often you freeze, well, Grover or anyone in this Gators lineup.
Yeah, they've got timing down to a T, so to see them kind of off balance on a pitch or two, that's a good sign.
Payoff pitch. Popped up to the right side. Ball is caught. Shoemaker able to get back there. Boy, that was close. It was a race between McCool and Shoemaker back to first base. McCool just a step behind her. Heads up play by Shoemaker on the hit and run to be able to get back there in time, but quickly 2 away. A couple of good pitches from Swift to get Erickson and Grover to pop out. Brings up Cassidy McClellan. McClellan first pitch swinging, fouls it off. You mentioned the run rule, 8-run lead after 5, and the game is over. So Florida comfortably in that spot unless JU is able to put up 7 runs between the 4th and 5th inning as McClellan fouls off another one. 0-2 the count to McClellan. The pitch from Swift. Low and away. A little waste pitch. Shoemaker does run well over at first. Doubt they'll be too aggressive, nursing the 14-run lead. The pitch to McClellan. Off the end of the bat, out to second. Easy play for Brunette. Fires over to first, and a clean inning for Delcy Swift. So the lead stays at 14 for the Gators. We'll be back in a minute, folks. Pitching change for the Gators. First time tonight, we'll see Allison Sparkman. Allison Sparkman in familiar territory. Former ASUN player for Florida Gulf Coast. Last season was all ASUN second team before transferring to to Florida, excuse me. She'll face Jada Thomas to lead things off. Thomas had that double back in the first and then had the play at the plate where Linkletter was thrown out. Since then, offense has been tough to come by for the Dolphins. See Sparkman with that aggressive motion.
Yeah, you're going to see Sparkman. She doesn't waste any time in the circle. Once she gets on, she's ready to go. She gets her sign and goes and has a lot of velocity. Will work that rise ball. She's got a really good off-speed pitch that she'll go to, but that speed and velocity really is what she hones in on and working those corners.
Yeah, and it's got to be so tough to see the ball out of her hand with that motion. Part of the deception that a lot of players have throughout the college softball landscape. Thomas behind in the count, 1-2. The pitch from Sparkman. Down low, 2-2.
Yeah, it would be 2 years ago now. I had the chance to go to the ASUN tournament in Oxford, Alabama, and Sparkman threw a lot of innings for Gulf Coast, and JU is probably accustomed to seeing her pitching, so maybe some of the freshmen have to make some adjustments, but some of these returners will definitely have a game plan in the box.
And that one's lifted high in the air to left field, playable. And putting it away for the Gators is Cassidy McClellan. Good at bat from Thomas. She flies out for out number 1. We'll turn things over to Sarah Beth Brake. More on Sparkman. This is her 3rd appearance of the season for the Gators. An inning and 2/3, has only given up 1 hit, no runs. A couple strikeouts on the card for her. Excuse me, it's Macy Burkhart pinch hitting for the Dolphins. Not Sarah Beth Brake. For Burkhart on the season, she's appeared in 1 game, and hey, she's 1 for 1. Batting 1,000, and hey, still batting 1,000. 2 for 2 on the season. Picks up her 2nd single of the year, so Burkhart's on with 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, and you're going to see that throughout the season, those pinch hitters being put in situations, not just to change it up, but to give them an opportunity to make a difference and get some spark going for the team.
Yeah, I love that from Coach Ayers, and Burkhart proves her right. Here's Madison Weathers' first pitch swinging, and it rattles around. Sparkman flips it through the glove over to Ava Brown. What a play by Allison Sparkman. The face mask comes off and everything. I don't know how she was able to stay calm, cool, collected, and make that play. Let's look at that again. You see it's somewhat in the glove, rattles around off her leg, and the scoop.
It's like half catcher, half pitcher. They're whipping the mask off and then gloving it over to Brown. But both pitchers showing they've got good glove work tonight.
I was going to say, how about the concentration from Ava Brown? I mean, that's a matter of 3 or 4 feet on the flip, and she sticks with it, able to make the play. We'll have a pitching change for the Gators. We'll step aside as Olivia Miller warms up for Florida. We'll take the ball for the Gators, making her 4th appearance of the season. Inning and a 1/3 so far, 2 strikeouts, hasn't surrendered a run. She'll face off against Allison Carter for the Dolphins. Allison Sparkman did a nice job for the Gators. Her night is over. Miller's first pitch. Fastball just misses 1-0. Last year, Miller, 4-0 record, and an ERA under 2. Swing and a miss from Carter. Great pitch. It's a great atmosphere here at the Pruitt Softball Complex. Packed house to see the Finns take on the Gators as Carter swinging away. Unable to connect with that pitch. It's now 1-2.
Yeah, one of the cool things about Florida being in our backyard is they get to come here and double dip. They've got UNF down the street. They've got JU here, and then we get to go down the street to them.
Swing and a miss. Miller sits down Carter. Faces one batter, strikes her out. That'll do it for the bottom of the 4th. So we'll be back in a second, folks. Top of the 5th coming up after this. Folks, welcome back to the River City. Like we said last inning, big crowd on hand for this game between the Dolphins of Jacksonville and the Florida Gators. See the Gators' upcoming schedule. They'll head home to face the Dolphins tomorrow. After that, a couple games against Marshall, Georgia Tech, FIU, and finally at home against JU's crosstown rival, the UNF Ospreys. Pinch hitting for the Gators, it's Madison Walker hitting .273 on the season. She's appeared in every game, has started 3 of them. Walker 3 for 11, couple RBIs, also has a stolen base on the card. Transferred in from Mizzou. Wonder the change in scenery going from Columbia, Missouri to Gainesville, Florida. You think she's happy with her decision following all the cold weather that we've seen?
I would say probably, because it still probably feels like a spring day for her and not, we should be seeing snow now in Jacksonville.
2-1 the count to Walker. Off-speed pitch from Delcy Swift. Like we said earlier, Delcy Swift, in her collegiate debut, the Dolphins are going to ride with her. She's looked great in the last couple of innings. Got out of trouble back in the top of the 3rd, was able to work a scoreless top of the 4th. Why not give her the rock here for the 5th as that ball runs inside?
All right, Madison.
It's fouled off. Remains 3-2 to Walker.
And you look at the back-to-back matchups, they're going to play Florida tomorrow at Florida. But the opportunity here for all the fans that don't get to travel, they have a game here in town. You get to see one of the best teams in the nation.
Yeah, there's a heavy Gators presence in Jacksonville. Gators, Seminoles, Dolphins, Ospreys.
Now batting shortstop number
Across
31.
the board, a lot of different
Kenley
fan allegiances here in the River City. Walker works a walk. The name is fitting as Kenley Cahalan digs in. Cahalan 1 for 2, also worked a walk in addition to an RBI double back in the 3rd. It's the second walk issued by Delcy Swift. Remember, she walked the first batter on 4 pitches. Since then has settled in brilliantly. That one's fouled off on the left side.
That's 2 now that it looks like it's taking out the cameraman down there on third baseline, but it's well past him.
Very close. He didn't flinch. That gave me some confidence that he's
No,
all right.
If he's flinching, he's probably protecting the equipment. It's probably more valuable than he is at this point.
That one lifted into left field. It's playable for Mansfield. She puts it away for out number 1.
And Swift already a good job in this inning, making a quick adjustment. You let one runner get on, but you get the first out at the second at bat of the inning.
Julia Desiderio.
Now it's Julia Desiderio. Desiderio, no hits on the season, although she's been hit by a pitch twice. So the on-base percentage is solid, and there's her first hit of the year. Grounds one in the hole into left field. First pitch swinging for Desiderio. Now it's first and second, just one away.
You see
Now
that pitch
second baseman
kind of low and in,
Gabby Comia.
kind of over the middle of the plate, but just a good connection. And on that replay there, you can see some of that crowd out there. I was told, I did see there's high school preseason this week going on in Jacksonville too, but I saw some Atlantic Coast high school players here. Tsunami, Jax Gold, First Coast Mafia was here, Tampa Mustangs, and then 10U Jax Gold, I believe, was the Anthem Buddies. So a lot of local kids here, and whether they go play on the big stage or a little stage or just stay in the game, like it's a big deal. It's a good opportunity for them to see good softball.
Yeah, Jacksonville has a big softball presence. Whether you're out in St. Johns County, up in Yulee, ball gets away. No throw down to third as Brake thought about it.
And Brake does a good job keeping that ball in front of her, but getting too far out in front, she's not going to be able to make that throw. But
excuse me, that was Macy Burkhart. Burkhart into the game for Brake, of course, but a nice job keeping it in front of her. Smart decision not to throw it down to third base. Comia takes strike number 2. It's now 1-2 to the Gators second baseman. Swift looking to work out of trouble. A 1-2 pitch. Chopped out to short. Stevens coming in on it, going home, and the throw sails past Burkhart. Comia will head to second base. So Walker scores. And the 15th run of the game comes home for the Gators. I like the idea from Stevens. Why not come home with it? The play was there. The ball just barely sailed on her.
yeah, I think on that one, I mean, your momentum could take you either way, but the throws offline, I would rather have the outs. I don't want to be in the coach's head at this point, but for me, it's 15 runs, and I'm looking for outs here.
That one sneaks through into left field. Desiderio will score. Townsend Thomas having herself a nice day. Picks up her second hit and her 4th RBI.
And again, you see that ball just perfectly placed. That's the slapper's job, is to find that 3-4 hole, that 5-6 hole, to put it in a spot where you can score and manufacture runs and potentially extra bases.
Yeah, correction, that's Thomas's 5th RBI. She had the infield single earlier, had the bases clearing double that she tried to stretch into a triple, was thrown out, and now just perfectly placed ground ball to score another one. So 5 RBIs for Townsend Thomas, the redshirt freshman, having a career day here in Jacksonville. You look at this Gators lineup, they are loaded across the board. Taylor Shoemaker and Jocelyn Erickson, the top 2 in the lineup, both all SEC players. We see Keegan Rothrock as well, freshman of the year for the SEC back in 2024. Rothrock more of a pitcher, of course. Wonder if we'll see her tomorrow night. Shoemaker fouls one off. It's now 1-1. We highlight Shoemaker, we highlight Erickson. You go top to bottom in this Gators lineup, there is not a weak spot anywhere.
Yeah, there's not, and as softball has progressed, the way we used to joke, like, you know, in youth sports and stuff about, like, oh, we're going to put this person in right field just to have a filler, but as the game has progressed and the college game has progressed, you need 1 through 9. You've got to have an asset in every single position. What does that player bring to the team? What can they offer? Where can we place them to maximize that benefit?
Shoemaker, foul tip back to the screen, now 1-2.
And you see teams like Florida, too. They make very minimal changes to those lineups. Even as the season progresses, there may be 1 or 2 that they have to plug in for injury or to make a change if something's not working. But that's what makes these teams so aggressive and competitive.
Yeah, and a guy like Tim Walton, he knows what he's doing. The 2-time champion back in 2014 and 2015. And the Gators are a mainstay in the college women's softball World Series. Boy, tongue twister right there. 2-2 to Shoemaker. Fouled off. Looks like our cameraman was safe from that one.
Yeah. You got a good view of that new warm-up area over there, the new batting cages. That did not exist when I was playing at UNF.
It is
But
state of the art.
yeah, they've got some great donors here that have done a lot of facility upgrades.
Shoemaker ropes one into center field over the head of Thomas. And that one bounces off the wall. The throw comes in, it's cut off. 1 run will score. Excuse me, 2 runs will score. So Shoemaker, an RBI double.
Number 8,
the lead is now 17 to nothing. No, it was just the 1 run. Jada Thomas played that one nicely off the wall, able to get it in quickly. 17 to nothing Gators. For all intents and purposes, if the score stayed where it is going into the bottom of the 5th, the Dolphins, they would need to score 10. So here is Erickson. Erickson off the glove of Swift. And Stevens thought about going home. Probably had to play it first, but hesitated too long. It'll be an infield single for Erickson as another run crosses the plate. It's now 18 to nothing.
Third baseman number 12,
Gators still lead.
Grover.
Yeah, and if you're scoring at home, pitchers do not make fielding errors. I don't know about how baseball works. I know you do a lot of baseball, but make throwing errors but not fielding errors. That'll just go down as a single with an RBI.
Yeah, that's a tough play for Stevens. You know, she's had to go home several times, so it's you can tell it's in her mind. And there have been a few times she's hesitated to go to first. Now that time hesitates, goes home. At that point, smart to keep it in your glove and not fire it over to first. She probably did have a play on Erickson if she didn't hesitate, but it would have been bang bang.
Yeah, she would have had to get the throw off immediately because the ball was still in the glove. So definitely a tough out. I think the key for her, if she gets another ball, she just got to get the out at first.
That one lifted into left field, in for a base hit. Another run will score as Shoemaker comes across. Kendall Grover is having herself a day. Another run batted in. That's now 3 for Kendall. And it's now 19 to nothing Gators.
See that ball inside, but good timing and quick hands on that inside pitch, just turns on it.
Yeah, that's a great piece of hitting from Grover. We will see a pitching change. It'll be Reese Wells coming on. We'll have more on Reese Wells in a second, right after these messages. Wells, the junior right-hander for the Dolphins, enters the game for Delcy Swift. Reese Wells, she's good at the plate, also good on the mound. Finished with a 3-3 record in 38 2/3 last season. Also finished last year with a 400 batting average, 8 hits, couple RBIs. She'll face Kaylee Matsuno. Matsuno on the season hasn't started any game, but is 1 for 1 on the season, her lone hit being a double. Excuse me, it's Kaylee Matsuno. She's an opportunity to knock in a run with Erickson at second, Grover over at first. That one off the end of the bat, out to second base. Burnett up with it quickly, fires over to first. 2 away here in the top of the 5th. Both runners advance.
Now batting number 24, Madison Walker.
That pitch just a little off the plate. Surprised she kind of swung at that one, but coming in a pinch hit, you're aggressive on anything, so.
All right, Madison.
Got to make the most of your opportunities. Madison Walker digs in. Walker takes. Now 2-0. Reese Wells looking to limit the damage. If she can get out of this, the Gators should finish with 19 runs in the game. They're looking to go over 20, of course. Three 3-0 the count. The pitch Off the outside part of the plate, ball 4, and Walker will trot down to first base, her second walk of the night. That brings up Kenley Cahalan once again.
Now batting number 31, Kenley Cahalan.
Cahalan coming up to the plate for the 6th time. She's 1 for 3, has a double, 2 walks, a couple RBIs as well. It's a chance to knock in a few more here as the first pitch misses. 1-0. Another one outside. Wells was able to come in and get Matsuno. After that, having trouble locating. To your point earlier, the Gators, their plate vision is spectacular. They do not give you any gimmies. (3-0) the count to Cahalan. The pitch from Wells. Just outside, ball 4.
And you've seen it on the lefties and the righties now. Wells really trying to stay on that outside corner, but just not really getting it close enough to touch. And, you know, whether that's the aggressive of trying to make sure they're not barreling the ball, but you've got to throw something in the zone at some point. You've got nowhere to put your runners.
So now it's Julia Desiderio. And Meg, what do you do when you're trying to establish the outside part of the plate or the inside part of the plate and you're not getting it? It seems like Wells, she's trying really hard to establish the outside corner and just not getting it. What do you do when that happens?
Yeah, I mean, there's small misses, but you've got to find where that zone is, and once you find it, you've got to keep it.
And she is able to find it. The ball ends up in the glove of Emma Mansfield. So out number 3 as the 5th comes to a close. 20-0 Gators. The Dolphins due up next. Looking to close the door on the Dolphins of JU. JU's upcoming schedule, like we mentioned, they'll head down to Gainesville tomorrow to take on the Gators once again. And then they have 4 straight games against some Northeastern opponents trying to escape the cold. They'll be coming down here to the River City. We're happy to have them. Happy to have all of you with us at home. A couple changes for the Gators. Haley Matsuno stays in to play second base. Gabby Komiya moves over to shortstop. Kenley Cahalan over at third. Erickson still in at first base. Olivia Miller on the mound. Got a quality bottom of the 4th. Well, final out in the bottom of the 4th, I should say. She'll take on J.C. Harrelson. First time we've said her name tonight. Harrelson appeared in 2 games, has a couple of starts. 0 for 3 on the season, still looking for her first hit. That one on the outside corner for strike 1.
And I've got to take the time here to give a shout out to our umpire crew, as 2 of the crew members I do know personally, but behind the plate is Taylor Cornier, and third base is Carlos Guzman, and first base is Kevin Conder.
Yeah, they've done an excellent job tonight. Speaking of excellent jobs, J.C. Harrelson picks up her first hit of the season, now 1 for 4 on the year. Beautiful swing to serve that one into left field, and Tim Walton is going to say enough from Olivia Miller. We'll have another pitching change as Leah Stevens enters the game for the Gators. She's made 2 appearances, pitched 1 total inning, picked up her first career strikeout in the win over Illinois State. With Meg Mahalik, I'm Kyle McCarthy. Hey, if JU puts up 13, then this game will continue. Otherwise, there'll be another run rule between the Gators and the Dolphins. Like we said last year, the Dolphins able to give them a run for their money. In the one game, they lost 5-2 to the Florida Gators. Otherwise, 7 of the last 8 have been run rules for the Gators, who have never lost to the Dolphins. They're 31-0, about to make it 32-0, barring something very unforeseen. Vic Brunette at the plate. As Stevens fires in strike 2.
I'm going to go back to Stevens for a second. Her little bio we popped up. Aerospace engineering is her major. So she's a true numbers girl and a pitcher. So that's got to say a lot. She's definitely probably one of the hardest workers in the circle, having that critical thinking. And I know it's hard to be analytical sometimes on the field, but that's part of the game. But kudos to her. That's student athlete. That student part always comes first.
Yeah, right you are, as Brunette skies one to center field. That's playable for out number 1. Yeah, aerospace engineering. I wouldn't know where to start, Meg, but credit to Leah for taking on the challenge
She
there.
can have that. I'm not a math girl. That was my weakest subject, and I know that's a lot of formulas, a lot of calculations, and all the terminology that I don't use on a daily anymore. If I can't put it in an Excel formula, I'm probably not using it.
So that brings up Liz Harley. Harley, the freshman, making just her 3rd appearance of the season. Correction, first at bat of the season for Harley. She's been in the field at times as she swings and misses. So her debut at the plate, coming against Leah Stevens and the Florida Gators. Harley takes upstairs, 1-2. Wazalowski thinking about the snap throw again.
Yeah, and as a base runner, you've got to be heads up on that. You know you've got a righty in the box, so that catcher has that open lane. And if you've got an aggressive arm behind the plate, like that's a quick, easy out if that runner's not paying attention.
Yeah, and the pinch runner is Chick Jenkins into the game for JU, another one of these freshmen. They're very excited about their freshman class. We've seen there's a lot to be excited about as Harley swings and misses. Out number 2, and the Dolphins are down to their final out of the ball game. So once again, it's Emma Mansfield.
You see that off-speed pitch from Stevens there. It just slightly takes off and elevates. She swings right under it.
Mansfield 0 for 2, strikeout and a ground out on the card so far. Trying to extend this game a little bit longer. Takes one right down the middle for strike 1. Like we said, after this, both teams will head back to Gainesville. These two teams will take on each other tomorrow night. As Stevens fires in a strike, it's now 1-2. The Dolphins down to their final strike. That ball popped up. This should do it. Erickson is over, puts it away, and that's how this one ends. So the Gators absolutely dominate JU in this one, 20-0 the final score, capped off by a 14-run 3rd inning. The Gators improved to 6-0 on the season. JU falls to 3-2. That's how this one ends. So for Mick Mahalik, I'm Kyle McCarthy saying so long from Jacksonville, where the final score is Florida 20, the Dolphins of JU 0. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.